COLIN was blown on the 27th of June. 13 days later, last Saturday, the Times said,
"An electric power pylon was sabotaged so that Camilla was without electricity for some days. The supply has now been restored."
Captain, could you describe the fighting in your sector?
In my sector, it's just like fighting any other war. But I know you are convinced, or probably you foreigners especially, you have been hearing a lot of news and propaganda by the Pakistan radio that it's just a border skirmish. But yesterday you have seen, you went with myself and you saw this 5mm howitzer, 25-pounder and 120mm mortars. They are all landing. In border skirmish you don't have that. And probably with that telescopic lens you might have seen some Pakistani troops also. Their bunkers deployed. And we are fighting regular warfare. How can you call it a border skirmish? And I wish you go back and you explain to people this is a full-fledged war. And we are just holding in this base and we go and we play hell into them. I go inside, right inside, I go behind them, I go on the side, I go anywhere I feel like. I kill them.
Captain, it's now 3 months since the fighting started. Yes. You've been existing on the ammunition and the weapons you brought out with you. How much longer can this continue?
Well, it will continue as long as we have the resources. And as long as we carry on capturing the ammunition. And of course we expect that some country will come to our aid. At least you have come, you have seen how the fighting is going on. And if somebody comes to our aid, only thing that we need is arms and ammunition. Arms we have to maintain them, but we need some heavy weapons and ammunition. If that is the thing we get, then there's no problem, we can continue fighting. And if we don't get anything at all, well, you know the condition, what is happening in Sudan. They don't have any arms and ammunition, they are fighting. They're fighting with sticks, they are adopting different tactics. So that's what we're going to do.
But Captain, about you personally, I mean, what about your family?
My family, in fact, I don't know what is happening to them. I've given up because I have seen the fate of other families. When an officer has deserted and joined this Mukti Fauj, what happened to their families? They were all captured as prisoners and kept in the cantonment, and I don't know what had been done. So knowing all this, I ran away. You see? So I gave up. I just thought about God, whatever God does, and that's all. And I left. So I have no right to think about them, you see. Since I have sacrificed them, so how can I think about them now?
Another base camp deep in the jungle. Major Khaled debriefs his officers and plans further operations. As most refugees from the war are Hindu and the West Pakistan Army is Muslim, there is a danger that people might think that this is a religious war. But every one of these guerrillas, in fact every Mukti Fauj soldier I met, was a Muslim. In spite of incessant Pakistan allegations that India is arming the Mukti Fauj, supplying troops and expert saboteurs, I saw no Indian troops nor one piece of Indian equipment inside Bangladesh. In any case, the guerrillas seem quite capable of sabotage themselves. There is no doubt that the guerrillas are receiving sanctuary from the Indians. They cross the border to rest and maneuver their positions. But that, as far as I could see in the area I was in, is the limit of Indian help. The Pakistanis complain that they are being mortared and shelled by Indian guns across the border. The only shells I saw crossing the border were going the other way, from Pakistan guns. And the only mortars I saw fired against Pakistan army positions were plainly fired by the Mukti Fauj from positions clearly inside Bangladesh.
Into their position. And right in between their positions, so they were sort of doing wrong. Fire! Fire! Hold it! বাঁদিকে 200 গজ যান আর উপরে 200 গজ একটা নিচে পড়ছে একটা আগে গেছে এইতে ফায়ার ডাবল মেরে একসাথ হ্যাঁ ফায়ার সেন্টার নেক্সট
একটা কথা বলছিলেন তো আমি দুটা বার করে দিছি, বার করে দিছি, এখন আমাকে আবার বলেন কানেকশন দেন, এখন ঠিক হয়েছে না। বিলকুল ঠিক আছে, বিলকুল ঠিক আছে। রেডি ফায়ার, রেডি ফায়ার, বাবল রেড।
But the only thing which I am worried about, that is the protraction of this war, you know. As long as the war is continued for years and years and years, what is going to happen is the misery of the people. Misery in the sense that there will be a lot of killing, crossfire, the civilian will come into between the freedom fighters. Not that we are very much bothered for such sacrifice, and people are ready to give it. I have seen wherever there is action or wherever there is a reprisal by Pak Army, what happens when we go and attack certain area or we catch the enemy in an ambush, and the immediate reaction of the enemy is to burn the villages and kill the people of that area, rape the girls. But after that effect, initially we were afraid that the people will just desert us and they will think that this is a menace. But to the contrary, I have found out that they still want that we should go in action, even if they have to sacrifice everything. I have been told even by the people to the extent that let there be nobody in Bangladesh, they cannot take the soil out of our country. Soil, let the soil remain. We must continue the action. Therefore, the war will go on.